Alright, unloading. When it comes to unloading, you know, it's always best if you're getting paid by performance. That's always the best thing for sure. If you can beat the time and if you can unload containers uh, faster than the time that it's projected. So, for example, if a trailer is projected to be this one to be unloaded in an hour and you do it in 45 minutes, you beat it by 15 minutes. If this one is projected to be unloaded in 2 hours and a half and you do it in an hour and a half, you beat it by an hour. So all that incentive, since you beat the time, goes to get it. You go ahead and get it paid, and it's all extra pay. When it comes to unloading, the best thing to do is do it by 2 or do it by 1. It's cool if you do it by 3, but there should never be 3 people in one container unless it's really fucking heavy boxes or some large and awkward boxes. Now, there should definitely never be 4 people in a container. And if there's 3 people in a container, that's 2 people unloading it, 1 person on the reach truck, or on the reach truck, on the dock stalker, and wrapping the pallets. Stop fucking playing. Upstacking it, depending on the size, and depending if it's double stacked. But for the most part, that should be the most. There's a bunch of different ways to come in unloading containers. I've seen it when some had electric carousels. So basically, when it's getting unloaded, there's 1 person, 2 people unloading them with the carousel that's going inside onto an electric carousel that's just going electronically, going to the next person that's scanning the item, and then it's telling them what lane to throw it into, and then it goes into a lane, and there's people there at the end of the lanes just stacking them. I've seen manual carousels that it's just one long manual carousel that you open up and you stretch out, and it has feet on the bottom and wheels on the bottom, and you just extend it from wherever you're unloading the container to the outside. I see a lot of warehouses that have them but that don't really use them, and I prefer not to use them. But I have had the pleasure, I guess you can say, of using it. They're okay, I guess, but I don't know. I just rather do it the old-fashioned way, which is the best way in my opinion, which is basically you have a stack of 4 in the container of 4 empty pallets. You stack them in front of where you're at, and you're just building the pallets right there with the proper tie high, and you're unloading. You got one forklift driver coming in and taking them out, and somebody's doing the outside wrapping, or if you have to do the wrapping, it just all depends. But it's always best, and this is for any company, some advice, to have wrap machines outside, have some robo wrap machines, have a wrap machine. It just saves so much time, and it helps on, I guess you could say, on saving people's backs for sure. Cause that's one thing I don't like. I don't like wrapping pallets all the way to the bottom, but I mean, you have to do it, right? And just unloading, remember to always compare your paperwork to the container before you get started, and you're halfway and you're over here and you're unloading the wrong trailer or the wrong container. I'm sorry, because there's a bunch of different ways of unloading. The first way is trailers, live loads. These are just straight loads or pallets that come in that don't need to be broken down. Nothing. You just unload it. Somebody comes in. Somebody puts them away. That's it. And they're just received as is. Now there's breakdowns that everything needs to be broken down into partial pallets or into full pallets. Some tie highs are too high, so they need to be broken down. It's just, those are called breakdowns. There's closeouts that you have to literally separate everything because it's just a bunch of fucking different items that came from a closeout sale somewhere that they got a really nice, decent price on, and Now you gotta unmix everything. Then there's unloading by hand. First, there's produce. I haven't really done much produce. I would like to, like meats and stuff like that. But I know that basically it's the same thing. You come in, the meats on top of meats, and then you start breaking shit down. Everything's separated. You have to break everything down. I was over there doing that in somewhere in Illinois. I didn't do it myself, but I was working with somebody that did. Then what else? I know there's a bunch of different ways, to be honest. Then stuff coming from overseas, because there's cars that come from overseas. There's mini excavators that come from overseas. There's what else? Boxes that come from overseas. Dog food, dog cages, dog pads, all that shit. Like pamper pads for the dogs, all that type of stuff. Seasonal things for holidays and whatnot. So all of that comes into play when it comes to unloading. Now the main thing is you want to keep an eye out on the item number, keep an eye out on the SKU number, and make sure that you follow the tie high. You can do the math and see exactly how many boxes are supposed to come in. Most of the containers come in perfectly. It's the live loads that you have to be careful with. The drops that you have to be careful with. Anything coming from in here. Most of the stuff that comes in from China or out of seas, honestly, most of that shit comes perfect. And most of that shit, there's a website that you can go on and it'll tell you exactly what the hell is on that trailer after it was sent out by the company. I know there has to be. It's just if your manager wants to do it the right way. And I'm saying it right now. It is true. Yes, there is boxes that occur to be different, but by one fucking box, I'm sure of it. When unloading, you want to make sure any damaged cases as well, any damaged boxes. Remember, they're coming in water overseas, so the water might get into the containers. Always tell the manager, that way they won't say that you're the one that fucked it up or anything like that on some bullshit. What else? Now, honestly, it just depends if the company lets you use machinery. If they don't, because there's some companies that don't let you use their machinery, but some fools don't give a fuck. They just go and grab the machines, and the companies don't say shit. There's some supervisor managers that don't care, But there's some that do, and they go up and say like, "Hey man, you can't be on them," or "Excuse me, you can't be on them." But remember, if you ever get into an altercation like that, just have some respect. Let them know what the situation is. Or call their leader, call their manager. That's all. Don't try to be the hero over here. Take everything into your own hands, bro. You always want space for when you're going to be unloading. So make sure you can try to move any pallets that are in your way. Or start moving them wherever you're going to be unloading. It all just depends on the way the receiver and the company does their receiving. Always be aware, have pallets ready, because there's going to be a day, I guarantee you, when there's going to be no pallets around the warehouse, and you're going to have to go to the aisles and find empty pallets on your own. So always keep an eye out for pallets. And consolidating, making sure that you keep all pallets close to each other, because once pallets start getting moved away from the original load, shit starts going crazy. Then you're missing a pallet of this item and a pallet of that, and then you find it from like 3, 4, 5 doors down, So you gotta be careful with all that stuff. Unloading. What else was good about unloading? Double stacking. Double stacking is always good. It'll give you more space to around the dock. Always be nice to haulers, because the haulers are gonna come in and grab your stuff first. So I always want to be cool with the haulers. And if you're using machinery, always beep before you go out the dock, because you don't know what fucking person is walking right by your dock door at any time, and always turn around before you start using the machine, and make sure you're looking at everything on that dock. Use your horn on the dock, anything like that around that line, please. Don't be drinking in the containers, you know. Don't be drinking in them. Chill out. It's always a good time, when you get a chance to chill in the container, but, don't be smoking or drinking in any of them. What else? I don't know. I'm trying to remember a little bit more, but I know there's a lot more because, you always want to check out the POs as well. You always want to make sure the boxes. Because sometimes there might be boxes that look exactly the same and they have 6 numbers total to the item number and 1 number's off, and now you got 2 SKUs mixed up, maybe even 3 SKUs mixed up, and now you have to do it all over again, and you have to start unmixing everything. And for the unloading, remember, you get what you get because everything has to go out by date. I've seen a lot of unloaders that manipulate the system, and they go in like, yo, my boy, let me get this one, and these fools, the supervisors and managers, are over here hooking them up, and now they're paying late fees because this container's been sitting down over here for a week when it was supposed to be loaded a week ago. And since it's sitting down for that week, now it's late. And since it's a big container that takes 2 days to unload, now you're late for 2 days. And somebody's not going to come and pick it up till the 3rd day, so now that's 3 days. That's crazy how shit starts adding up real quick. But there's a lot of little different, situations when it comes to that, when you're unloading. What else? Unloading is always good if you can do it by yourself, to be honest. You just put on your headphones and you just start unloading. It does fuck up your back, though. Remember just to be careful with your back. Clean up after yourselves, too, because sometimes it has, like, plastic bag on the floor. Sometimes it has cardboard on the floor. Sometimes they have, depending on what kind of container it is, they have, like, styrofoam or, like, foam in the container so it won't mess with the product. And things like that. So there's just a lot of different situations when it comes to unloading. Unloading is always good. It's one of the good places to make the most money. What else? Sometimes you pretty much get what you get, Fuck it. Some containers are fucked up. Cause I know right off the bat, sometimes you get a fucked up ass container and you're looking at it like, fuck, are you serious? But to be honest, once it's finished, it's just like, yep, I noted that motherfucker. But once again, it all just depends on the type of unloading that goes on. But that's just some of the things that I remember right now about the unloading process. And believe me, I'll make some more videos on it. I'm just trying to pump out as much as I can for the day. All right, we're gonna keep it going. Hauling, basically you just gotta come in. You're gonna be using an RF scanner, and you're gonna be going ahead and scanning the pallets that you're gonna be taking. Just everything depends on the warehouse. If you have a triple pallet jack, double pallet jack, single pallet jack, it's better to take everything double stacked. Just be careful, obviously, when you're peeling out of the dock, doing sharp turns or anything like that. You always want to keep a safe distance. And basically all you're going to be doing is grabbing any pallets that are on the dock, hauling them to an aisle. The manager, supervisor, lead, or even the restock driver will tell you exactly where to haul them to, and that should be it. So nothing out of this world. Your job is just to keep area for the receiver to receive and the unloader to unload. Very simple when it comes down to it.